Well, then why'd you do it?
Is that what it is?
Because I was rushed this morning.
Imitation.
Why were you
the
rushed?
sincerest form of flattery. That's what they say.
It is, Skip.
Why were you rushed? We get here at 4 a.m.
I was rushed because I caught you eating something in your dressing room. You care to share?
It was a brownie disguised as a muffin.
Wait a
it's
second.
fine. I'm the one who has fun on this show
You
and
were
eats
in
whatever I
her
want.
dressing
No,
room.
I was at the
You were just checking in, make sure I was prepared.
Yes.
Yeah, slipped right out.
I know that no one around here is having brownies other than me, but I feel great and I've got a lot of
Good man,
energy
one,
and
too.
sugar. So we have a great show for you today. The Chargers need to start planning for life after Phillip Rivers. And why is Tom Brady so frustrated? He is not happy, Tom, anymore. And are we ready to crown Luka Doncic yet? But first, we're going to start with Skip's Cowboys, who are coming off a big win against the Lions despite only 45 rushing yards from Ezekiel Elliott. Zeke has underwhelmed this year after getting his big payday before the season started. Elliott is not in the top 5 in rushing touchdowns or rushing yards through the first 11 weeks of the season for the first time in his career. So, Shannon, how do you explain what has happened to Ezekiel Elliott?
I still believe that Zeke is a top-tier back. I just believe that teams are saying, basically, Skip, in order for the Cowboys to reach their ultimate destination, you're going to have to see more of Dak Prescott doing what he's doing. Because I still believe that teams, you can go back to analytics and just like the analytics that all these the pro football focusers and everybody else use, these teams have stats and analytic guys also. And the analytics and stats show is that when you neutralize Zeke, that increases your opportunity or your chances to win against the Cowboys. Now, what we've seen is that teams are starting to take Zeke away, and Dak is playing better. But he's going to have to do that for an extended period of time because since Zeke has gotten into the league, they've been run first. When Zeke run well, they win. And so Dak, you're going to have to see more of what we've seen from Dak against the last team, Detroit, in order for them to be successful moving down the road. Skip, look, when you look at these stats and they say Zeke is 24th, Skip, they factor in guys that's getting 5, because all you have to do is average like a little over 6 carries a game. Zeke, of the guys that are workhorse backs, the Leonard Fournettes, the Christian McCaffreys, the Carlos Hyde, the Chubb, the Zeke Elliott, Skip, he's like 9th. He's like 4.3. Now, unless you're Barry Sanders or Jim Brown, 4.3 you laugh at. Those guys are around 5. Everybody else that's in the 4.3, that's a damn good rushing average. Skip, you remember he was just slightly over that the year he got suspended and still led the league in yards per game. So that's where he is now. Last year he had 6 rushing touchdowns. This year he's already at 7. That's pretty good, isn't it, Skip? You like Tubbs, right? You don't like that? Okay.
I don't. The most overrated stat in football, except in fantasy football, is the 1-yard touchdown.
I remember that next time you say when Tom Brady has 3 of those on his resume in a football game. I remember you said that.
Brag
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Skip, look. Zeke is a bell cow back, but he doesn't have, and I think what you've been seduced with, you see Christian McCaffrey, you see Saquon, they bang, bang, bang. Next thing you know, they're off 50. They're off 60 yards. Skip, that's really never been Zeke since he's been in the NFL. As I said, his rookie year, he had 4 runs or catches of 40 yards or more, and then he went 1. Right now, he's currently at 0. So when you really look at it, I think you keep going back to what he was at Ohio State. I haven't seen that since he's been in the league. Now, I've seen the guy that rushed for 1,600 yards his rookie year and was on pace to probably do that or a little better his second year, led the league in rushing. But, Skip, it's a big deal now. You just don't lead the league in rushing every single year. And I think people are starting to have a false sense that, okay, he led the league in rushing his first 2 years. He just got a new contract, so just do it again. Eric Dickerson did not lead the league in rushing every single year. Only Jim Brown did. Or seemingly, I think he led it like 8 of the 9 years that he was in the league.
Shannon, he's 8th in yards rushing this year. 8th.
Oh, Skip. Do you know how many running backs there is? There are 32 teams. So I'm not concerned. And because, as Jason Garrett said, you see they still stacking the line. The week before, Jerry Jones says everybody and their mama knew that the Minnesota Vikings were not going to let Zeke Elliott run. So that's where you are. And if you're going to win, if you, Skip Bayless, if your guy's what you said he is, Zeke should be inconsequential. You don't even need, as a matter of fact, bench Zeke and start Tony Pollard. That's what you should do if you're so confident Zeke is such trash and washed up like you said. Put Tony Pollard in the game.
So I'm going to repeat what your opening remark was.
Yes.
But I'm going to preface it by reminding everyone Ezekiel Elliott is now by far the highest paid running back in this game. Ezekiel Elliott just got $50 guaranteed million to sign. You can't take it back. You can't cut it. You can't get rid of it.
No.
50 locked in for Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay.
And you just said, I still think he's a top tier back.
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Talk about damning with faint praise.
No, I still believe he's
You know
top
what?
tier back.
I've been saying this for a month, and I'm going to double down right here, right now, because I am not seeing what you're talking about. And just to qualify myself, you're in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but I learned my football from Bill Walsh and Tom Landry and Jimmy Johnson and even Barry Switzer, who perfected the college wishbone and was as great at gearing the running attack as anybody I've ever seen. So I know a little bit about what to see and not see on a football field. And I am not seeing that this is about 8 men in the box or defenses geared to stop Ezekiel Elliott. Because I'm going to remind you, Zeke led the league in rushing as a rookie when all they were doing was putting 9 men in the box to stop Ezekiel Elliott because nobody thought Dak Prescott could throw it a bit when he was a rookie.
Right.
All he did was win Offensive Rookie of the Year, but maybe it was just because of Zeke. Then in Zeke's second year, he led the whole league in yards per game,
Right.
but he couldn't lead in rushing. He would have, but he got suspended for 6 games.
Correct.
Then his third year, which was last year, he led the whole league in yards rushing. He dominated this league for 3 years against defensive coordinators who made Zeke the #1 priority. Nothing has changed. In fact, I believe that I saw the Detroit Lions, who ranked 26th against the run going into the game, I saw them backing off. I was trying to count men in the box as best I could from TV, which is always a little hard to do because it flashes here and there.
Right.
But I didn't see that much 8 in the box because I saw a Detroit defense just playing straight, just playing coverage because it is clear they have now morphed the Dallas Cowboys into a passing football team.
Well, Skip, to your point, if you're telling me that that teams are going to play Zeke with coverage and not drop that 8th guy in the box, well, then maybe, yeah, it's over.
Okay, all right. So something, which I'm about to get to, is very wrong with this Zeke because he looks very different to my eye. And look, I hope I'm wrong about this. I can't tell you because week after week I keep saying, okay, this is the bust-out game. This is the one where he just bounces back and says, I'm still Ezekiel Elliott. And all I see is that the $50 million man is giving us a lot of, by his standards, 50-cent games because those last 2 games are 50-cent games.
Well, you know, Minnesota.
Okay, that's 20 for 47 against Minnesota. And we know what happened at the end of the game when I believe Jason Garrett said, put the ball in Zeke's hands.
We do.
2nd and 2 from the 11, Zeke, nowhere. 2nd and 2, 3rd and 2 from the 11, Zeke, -3. Then throw it to Zeke on 4th down, incomplete. I hope you were right about this, that he's still Ezekiel Elliott, but this is what I'm not seeing from him. I'm not seeing him attack defenses with that rare athletic arrogance he used to have in the first 3 years, in which his body language said, I'm just better than y'all, you know what. You know what the word is, right?
Yeah.
Right? That's what he said. I saw a guy who played with contagious rage that turned into this sort of runaway joy when he kept reaching the end zone, in which he jumped in the Salvation Army pot or the whatever you call it.
Kettle.
Kettle, yeah. And I used to see a guy who would just explode up into the defense with the greatest body lean I've ever seen of any back ever, Jim Brown, anybody, Eric Dickerson, just fierce body lean where he exploded with some burst up into the defense.
Okay.
Was he an all-time breakaway back? Well, he ran 4.4 at the combine.
Right.
That's pretty fast.
Right.
That's fast enough to be a breakaway back. And now I don't see that anymore because you look at what he's doing. In 10-plus yards of rushes this year, going for 10 or more. He's 8th, and then 20-plus yards second. He doesn't break away anymore.
No, but Skip, he never broke away since he's been in the NFL. Like I said, you got seduced by looking, especially the last 4 games of his sophomore season, where he went to Michigan, Big Ten, Alabama, and Oregon.
Yeah.
But he's not been that since he's been in the league.
So here's what, and again, I'm a psycho Cowboy fan, and I take it way too seriously and sometimes personally, but I live and die for these games, and so I'm all over it. I'm just absorbing every little nuance of the game.
Okay.
So what did I see against the 26th defense against the run, the Lions defense? They ran Zeke on first down 11 times in that game.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a lot of first down runs that are going nowhere. And I'm like pulling my hair out. I'm pacing my floor because what happened on the first one? It went for 1 yard and he fumbled. Okay. So I'll give him an occasional fumble. But he went 11 times. It averaged 3 yards a carry, which is not good enough. In the last 4 runs, when you're trying to kill the clock and keep the ball away from Jeff Driscoll, I'm sorry I'm saying this publicly, but they could not stop Jeff Driscoll.